If you're on the fence of whether to watch the second half or not, understand that in the series history in MLS, by far more goals scored in the second half than in the first, and know as well that Seattle has scored 5 goals in the opening minutes of the second half in the MLS era of this rivalry. Just in case 2-2 at the break wasn't enough for you. Second half underway. Timbers in green, Seattle in their pitch black alternates. DeAndre Yedlin's flying header is eventually sliced out by Jalil Anibaba. Kyle Martino between the benches just had a chance to chat with Caleb Porter. What did he tell you?
Well, overall happy with the first half. Obviously not the mistakes they made, and I asked him what to expect from the second half, and he said high pressure. I really want to create turnovers, get pressure on Alonso and Pineda, and also make sure we get our outside backs forward. He thinks they're going to win the game on the flanks.
And again, Kyle, this is such a significant thing for Portland to get their first win of the year. You could feel that pressure yesterday. It was a very agitated Caleb Porter we met with, having been barraged by questions in the local media of why they hadn't been scoring, why they hadn't been winning. Here's Nagbe now. On the overlap for Harrington, Yedlin sweeps it away. And Azira clears to midfield. Martin's able to bring it down and hold off Chara. Martins back from Dempsey. Dempsey doesn't want it. He keeps giving it back to Henry Martins. Pineda, Martins knocked away by Elvis Powell. Steelers actually have numbers if they go quick here. Powell, though, just runs into the traffic.
Powell's got to pick his head up. He had Nagbe streaking, and Yedlin struggling to catch up with him.
Now Alassane. That's Valeri running into an offside position. So Alassane will go on his own. Running at Leo Gonzalez. Alassane clips it in for the pylon. Urruti just beyond him. Pass is too far for Azira. Again, Alassane out wide, hands in for Diego Valeri. Suffered that cut certainly over his knee and was down receiving treatment, but he's begun the second half. Chara looking to sneak in Harrington from behind. Harrington's header right to Fry. Early ball for Cooper, who opened the scoring just beyond 2 minutes played in this game. Alonso loses his footing, loses the ball. Azira tackles it off with Michael Harrington. Now Kenny Cooper. Throw with Hemi Martins. Renick Paparano. And Roberto Paparano wins the day. Although then gives it right back to Dempsey. And Pineda opening up. Now sees him. Gonzalo Pineda. Early ball trying to send Cooper in. Koss sends it out. Owls for the fans as Marshall and Urruti were battling for that. Harrington's header stays in play. Now Nagbe looking to accelerate. Chara puts a bit behind Nagbe, and Yedlin gets it clear. Dempsey for Martins. Dempsey skips away from Chara, who catches him late. The man who's committed more fouls than any other player since the beginning of the 2011 season goes in the book.
That's a big yellow card, too, because his game has a lot to do with covering ground and also just being a bit chippy, stepping on your foot, getting an extra tackle in, getting a little arm in there. And he's so important to this side because of how intimidating and how difficult it is to play against them. And now with that yellow card, that takes out one of those aspects of his game that he's so good at.
It was a Chara tackle that separated Clint Dempsey's shoulder when these two teams played in October last year, and Probably limited Dempsey the last few games of the regular season as he was dealing with that. Pineda lifting in the ensuing free kick straight to Andrew Weber. Weber 2 saves in the first half as he gives it away. Dempsey got the foot into the rollout. It's going to be knocked out for a corner. Well, again, it's a big point of emphasis for referees this year. 6-second rule for goalkeeper. Is that why Weber felt he needed to get rid of this ball? Yeah,
he looked very anxious to get it out, but how casual is that? Doesn't even take a look. Rolls it to someone who's standing a foot away from him. Clint Dempsey almost can't believe his luck.
Third corner for Gonzalo Pineda and the Seattle Sounders today. Pineda drives it in. Harrington heads away. Azira, that came off of Nagbe, and will do it again from the other flag.
Good start to the second half from the Seattle Sounders. Getting on the ball, a little more comfortable. They had plenty of the ball in the first half, but didn't really look all that threatening, and looked a lot more threatening at the beginning of the second half.
Pineda, the in-swinger this time. Marshall's header into the traffic. Anibaba wide across the face of goal. Whether it was deflected or not, it's going to be a goal kick in the end. Once again, Seattle going close from a set piece.
Well, and once again, talking about this zonal marking and Chad Marshall, if there's anyone that you're maybe just going to mark, and it looks like Obafemi Martins actually is the one that keeps that from going out as that drops down to Anibaba. It looked like Martins was trying to backheel it. Might have deflected it out in that second replay.
And then Weber mishits the goal kick, and it goes straight out. Don't forget, he's playing against his former team, too. He was the Sounders' backup the last 2 years, in for the suspended Donovan Ricketts for a second straight game for Portland as Dempsey holds off Chara to keep the ball. They go for a tumble. Free kick, Seattle just outside the box. And Chara barking back at Hilario Grajeda.
He's walking a fine line right now. Clint Dempsey is going to know that. And the skill of that player right there is good enough to be able to get on the ball and bait you in to make a tackle and move the ball. Draw fouls in dangerous areas.
Trying to get his foam canister reset. And before the free kick's going to be taken, just wants to get himself in a better position. Now it's Gonzalo Pineda to lift this in again towards Marshall. Cog out there first. Azira back into the mixer. A touch from Paparazzo to keep it out. Arruti upended. And Azira is already on a yellow card from back in the 5th minute.
As this ball comes through, it looks like it might catch the arm a little bit of Azira. There's no card there, just following through. It doesn't even hit the face of Arruti. He's going to grab it anyway.
Now 4 red cards in the 4 games played in this stadium between these two teams, at least in the regular season. In their respective MLS era, will we go 5 for 5 here? It would not be a shock. Long switch for Harrington. The first touch to get around DeAndre Yedlin. Michael Harrington puts it wide.
Well, if only his second touch was as good as his first. Really nice diagonal ball from Will Johnson. And the first touch was outstanding. Gets it onto his right foot. And just shanks that one wide. Good opportunity there for the Portland Timbers.
And became a regular starter with the Timbers, Harrington, after becoming surplus in Kansas City and won a spot on the U.S. national team camp in January, though wasn't part of the team for that game against South Korea. Offside given there as Arruti was trying to put off Chad Marshall. The most offside player in MLS this year, Maxi Arruti, adding to his tally.
And sometimes I question the intelligence of his running. He definitely covers a ton of ground. He's willing to put the work in.
Dempsey and Powell battling. And the 19-year-old from Jamaica wins the ball. Now Valeri for Portland. Alonso sizing him up. Al-Hassan finds Chara on the turn. Diego Chara, pocket of space here with the runners in front of him. Chara takes it himself. Sensational goal!
Well, he did it to you in the first half. You'd think that memory is long enough that you wouldn't give him this opportunity to do it to you in the second half. And Baba just in no man's land. And that's why Alonso gives him that shove and asks him what he's doing. Backpedaling, backpedaling, backpedaling. Just has no idea what to do. And how about that strike from Chara? Picture perfect. Can't believe that he's been able to carry the ball so long without any pressure and watch it come through the bodies. What a beautiful finish from that man right there, Chara.
2 goals in his first 91 MLS games, Diego Chara. 2 goals today. The Timbers' first designated player. He's not here to score goals. He's here to gum things up in the middle, control possession. And he set Providence Park alight yet again. Get away in the center. Anibaba the mistake. Urruti the other way. Maxi Urruti!
Oh, just another mistake right here. Anibaba has no idea Urruti's behind him, and Kenny Cooper puts him in a really bad spot. But delightful finish from Urruti. I thought he paused and held his run up a little too much and let Chad Marshall come into it, but he knew exactly what he was doing, just setting up this curling strike that's absolutely delicious.
Just the second goal for Urruti in 12 games with Portland. Young forward from Argentina who was chased for a long time by the old guard of Toronto FC. Was there for 3 weeks before they sent him to the Timbers in September of last year.
You talk about great leagues around the world, John, and one thing that's consistent is if you make a mistake, you get punished for it. I think one of the best demonstrations of the growth of Major League Soccer is we've seen 2 or 3 examples in this game alone of if you make a mistake, there's the quality out there to punish you for it. That was beautiful. Chainsaws out, cut another piece of the log off for that goal from Urruti.
This is now the highest scoring goal in the MLS history of the Portland-Seattle rivalry. All-time, all competitions. You have to go back to July 2005 to find a game with this many goals, and we may have more coming as Dempsey trying to combine with Martins. Cooper's header away by Kaw. Lamar Nagel, who was kind of a late question mark whether he would start. He's getting set to come on for Seattle as Yedlin's cross is headed away by Paparazzo. Here, just keeps that from Nagby. Yedlin wants someone to pass the ball to and gives it away instead. A flying challenge to try to win it back, and Will Johnson staying down. And Johnson remains face down on the turf. And this is not a player, Kyle, that goes down and stays down easily. As the Sounders will make the change, Lamar Nagel, Seattle area native, replacing the former Timber and a goal scorer today, Kenny Cooper. Will come off gingerly here as we pass the hour mark.
Well, here's a look at that foul. Yedlin coming in, and looks like as Will Johnson's trying to clear it out, just takes one on the foot. He's walking gingerly off to my right on that left foot. And it appears the way they're setting up, their Seattle Sounders are moving into a 4-4-2 with Clint Dempsey playing as a withdrawn forward. Right
offside Martins.
Underneath Martins.
Well, the Sounders in their history have only ever lost when they've been 2-0 down. This is 2 goals down. How, in your opinion, Kyle, do they find a way back into this?
Well, they've already made a tactical adjustment, which I think is a good one from Ziggy Schmidt. We're going to have Nagel operating on that left side. Zera over here on the right side. Get Clint Dempsey and Obafemi Martins closer to each other, and also get Clint Dempsey the ball higher up the field where he can be dangerous, make that final pass, and also create off the dribble and create goal-scoring opportunities for himself.
Johnson wins it back from Alonso. Maxi Urruti thinking about it, lets it fly just wide.
Just too many poor giveaways from Seattle Sounders. The repetitive theme of this game. And they're still in this one, and yeah, they've been good enough in moments to be in the game, but the reason the scoreline's so lopsided is players that don't usually give the ball away as cheaply as they have, Alonso on that occasion, are just making it too easy for the Timbers.
Dempsey tripped up as he gets away from Powell. And the referee wants the ball pulled back. Dempsey again on the run. Powell backs off. He gets it away for Nagel. Has to chase it down in the corner. Off of Powell, out for a throw. Leo Gonzalez in for Nagel, gets a piece of it. It's last off Alvis Powell. It'll be corner kick number 5 for the Seattle Sounders. Again, Gonzalez permitted to take. Chad Marshall's been involved in a couple of these. Header up in the air, just in front of Marshall by Harrington. Chara able to stab it away. Alisson dances out of trouble. Now Valeri, space and time in the center. He's got Nagbe open on the left. Yedlin comes to meet him. 2 former Akron Zips going to go each other here. Nagbe a bit of a stumble as he cut back. Now Valeri. Will Johnson. Well closed down by Pineda, so he plays back for Powell, the right back. Alisson back for Powell. Nagel defending, poked away. Timbers corner. It in. Paparazzo is there. Is that over the line? It came off the other side of the bar. Linesman says no. Pineda then goes down in a heap. Paparazzo might be given a yellow card. He thought he'd scored. Goes in the book to the challenge on Pineda. All right, Kyle. This will be interesting.
Well, all you Premier League fans, I'm sure we're waiting for the referee to look at his watch, but no goal line technology in Major League Soccer as Paparazzo rises up, heads this one off the bar, and does it cross the line? Doesn't appear to have. Referee's assistant, you can see him standing right next to that corner flag, gets it right. It actually comes off of Yedlin's face.
Wow.
Doesn't know anything about it, but probably saves a goal right there. Impossible for us to tell from that camera angle.
Well, the fans are reacting to the replay on the big screen, but holding the ball must cross the hole at the line, and DeAndre Yedlin, whether exactly as you said, Kyle, he knew anything about it or not, has managed to keep the Sounders in this game. Marucci fouls on Ibaba.
Well, the fans at Providence Park reacting to this right here. Hits Yedlin's face and actually sends it away from the goal. And that moment right before it hits his face, if you had a hot light on me in a dark room and asked me if it was a goal or not, I'd say no, but very, very difficult to say in that situation if it fully crossed the line.
Just in case we haven't had enough interesting things happen today, save off the line off the face. Why not, DeAndre Yedlin? Marco Papa getting set to come on for Seattle. He's conferring with Ziggy Schmidt right now. Marucci, and a poor challenge here with Hani Bamba, and Yedlin had to clean it up. For Alassane. Dribbles into traffic and somehow gets away with the ball. In there, I think he was trying to pull out of the challenge as Yedlin was coming into that ball. And here comes the second substitution of the day. Marco Papa, the Guatemala international who was starting early in the season, has found minutes harder to come by last couple of weeks, is replacing Michael Azira.
He's going to play on this near side, look to tuck in on that favorite left foot of his and create. And one message maybe he's given to Yedlin is, I'm open up that lane, start bombing forward.
Papa, the former Chicago Fire player, returning this year after a year and a half at Heerenveen in the Netherlands. Is that kind of an errant free kick from Portland? He was trying to combine there with Nagel. Nagel comes to the ball instead. As Leo Gonzalez coming forward on the overlap. Gonzalez sends the cross in, header away by Paparazzo in front of Martins. Chara helps it away. Referee playing advantage there between Al-Hassan and Gonzalez. On foul that time.
Well, you'll notice with a 2-goal lead, minor adjustment from the Portland Timbers as Nagby's actually tucked into the middle of the field to try to get on the ball, dictate the tempo, give them a little bit of possession. Opening up this near side for Harrington to make those overlapping runs, but we've seen Nagby do that a lot for his Portland Timbers career, be the playmaker in the middle of the field, composed on the ball, makes good decisions.
Well, Harrington that time under-hitting the pass for Nagbe, and DeAndre Edlin will go in the book with a yellow.
You can see his argument right there, suggesting he got the ball, and 20 or 30 yards away from me on the left. It looked like he actually did, but it doesn't always mean it's not a foul. Here's a look at it as he comes in. Yeah, he definitely gets the ball, but gets a big chunk of Nagbe afterwards.
7th yellow card issued today. And we're now over 30 fouls whistled between the two teams. The rain starting to come down once again, and it stayed dry through most of the game today. Powell up for Alassane, Marshall the defender. Valeri, Powell, Valeri running through into the box. Diego Valeri looking to cut back, falls for a routine, deflected wide, and out for a corner.
I've been impressed with Powell on that far side. His willingness to get forward and showing great strength here to lay this ball off for Valeri. Trying to cut back on Alonso, takes a deflection.
Valeri again the corner. Marshall uncontested header away. Chara first there. Bundled over by Martins. Free kick from the wing. Diego Chara, 2 goals today. By the way, it's his 28th birthday. So not a bad 70 minutes for Diego Chara so far. So we're now to 35 fouls total. Valeri's upset. He wants the full 10 yards. He wants the spray can. The linesman's going to come across now and send Martins and Alonso back. As the rain steadily increases. Well, who was that look for? Whipped in. Alassane gets a back heel flick to it. No one there. Except for Marco Papa, who gives it right away to Alvis. Just a bit of a mishit from Powell.
That's an understatement.
Major League Soccer on the NBC Sports Network is being brought to you by the new Windows, one experience for everything in your life. And by Bacardi. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi, untamable since 1862. Untamable since 1975 between Portland and Seattle. And this is tied for the 2nd highest ever scoring game between these two teams. Arruti. Johnson the pirouette to get away from Osvaldo Alonso. Michael Harrington. Diego Valeri, Darlington Nagbe. The shot takes a deflection. It's going to end up wide. 3 black shirts converging on Nagbe there. It's behind for a corner.
One of the things that's great about Valeri is he has all this pace around him, and at times you can use him like a wall and get into your top gear and know that the ball is going to come back to you in a great spot. And Chad Marshall, last-ditch challenge, slides in there, blocking that Nagbe shot.
Nagbe's going to come short for Valeri, who had his head down. Whistle's gone before the ball's played in. Referee responding some pushing and shoving. Paparazzo and Gonzalez getting a talking to. Well, the ball's back in. Referee hasn't seen it. And he'll whistle dead again. Stefan Fry had 2 shutouts in his first 4 starts for the Sounders, the Seattle goalkeeper. He's had 4 come by him today and forced into 1 save. now he's got this set piece to deal with. Larry this time does get it in. Powell able to keep it in play. They'll reset for Will Johnson. First time shot was scuffed at, and Marshall sends it out. Yedlin gets to that ball in front of Powell. Ball still in play. Everyone's howling, thinks the play is dead. Too long for Nagby. Well, last year, this was a real strength for Portland amongst the league leaders, and this has been, again, a category that in the first couple MLS years had not been a strength. Goals scored in the final 15 minutes of games. And both goals the Timbers scored of their own accord in the first 4 games this year had come in these last 15 minutes. Chara miss-hit touch, Pampa chasing, and Palmo Duca there in time. Larry blocked by Pineda. Alassane steps right back in. Alonso's there. Pineda lifting it ahead for Marco Papa. Just keeps it in play. Powell can't take him off the ball. Still Marco Papa. Chance to whip it in. No one there in the penalty spot except for Michael Harrington. Although Chara's touch sends it out for a Seattle throw. Gonzalez. Right to the foot of Will Johnson. Yedlin for Nagel. Trying to spin and get away from Harrington. Nagel inside, finding Clint Dempsey. Dempsey trying to chip it. No, it's from Martins who puts the header over. What a ball! And Martins just couldn't keep it down.
We've seen these little stretches where the Seattle Sounders have looked so dangerous, and this is another little sequence that shows how talented this side is and how dangerous they can be at times. And that ball far post to Martins, right on the money. It looks like it might take a tiny little... No, that's just a great ball far post from Dempsey. Puts it right on the money. Here you'll get a good view at it. And Martins just trying to backpedal and knot it onto goal. You expect a player of his quality to put that on frame. And that hasn't been a bad performance from the Seattle Sounders. Just a couple lapses defensively and maybe a little sharper in the final third, and they're right in this game.
It's very reminiscent of what Ziggy Schmidt told us about his team throughout the last few weeks. Particularly the loss to Columbus. Good performance, just a couple bad moments as Arruzi's fouled.
I think the real issue for the Seattle Sounders is they still don't know how to play with Clint Dempsey. What's ideal? I mean, he's so versatile, and Ziggy Schmidt told us all the permutations and the different options he likes. They're good options. But I still think they're trying to figure out how to get the best out of that man right there and how to fit him into the team so that they can fire on all cylinders. And once they do, you see little moments at how dangerous they could be, and they need to figure that out sooner rather than later.
Papa now fouled behind the play, advantage played as Pineda rolls it ahead for Dempsey. Heavy first touch, able to keep under 2 different challenges. Papa outside of his left foot, ball for Lamar Nagel. Drops it off for Yedlin, lifting it in. Martins flicks it along, it's Clint Dempsey, blocked by the traffic, held in by Pineda. Back for Papa now. Dempsey mishits the ball, Andrew Weber's there.
As all the Timbers turn their head and see who this ball makes it to, I'm sure they were thinking that's the last guy we want to have it, but great saving challenge from Paparato. Slides over to keep that from going on target.
Sounders a good boost of momentum here. They will not fade quietly away. Nagel inside for Dempsey. Dempsey turns, fires, and he had Weber leaning the wrong way. Just wide in the end.
What a beautiful turn this is. Tough ball in from Nagel. but in the same motion, Clint Dempsey collects the ball, pirouettes, and gets the shot off. With how quick he got that shot off and that skill of getting it turned, that's what's difficult for the goalkeeper. Doesn't expect that shot to come through the crowd so quickly, and don't think he would have been there to make the save if it was on target.
Nagel first to react to that header. Martins and Dempsey play 1-2. Dempsey, what a ball to find Papa, and just a touch from Diego Chara. Aruzzi able to keep it for Valeri. Alonso steps in and win it back off Valeri, then a handball, Maxi Aruzzi. Alonso will thread it through. DeAndre Yedlin bombing forward. Yedlin gets the cross in between the two targets. Awkward touch from Paparazzo, and he cleans it up to send it out for a throw. In for Papa. Gets the cross away from the byline. Nagel sizing it up, wins the challenge over Harrington. Martins laying it off, and Kaw just there in front of Dempsey. Yedlin now for Dempsey. Wide for Nagel. Martins making the run up the touchline. Again, Nagel. Nagel centering it. A touch from Johnson. Held in by Gonzalo Pineda. Dempsey. Alonso. Clint Dempsey. He'll take the left-footed effort. It's a comfortable save for Weber. Timbers preparing to make their first substitution of the game, 82 minutes in. Alonso wide for Papa. Overlap from Leo Gonzalez. Gonzalez now sends the cross into the traffic. Weber a punch. Yedlin first on the scene, but he has to spin around it. Pineda. Again, we haven't mentioned it much, but Brad Evans out for this game with a calf contusion. That's part of the reason why Pineda's been in there. Papa hands off for Nagel. Nagby stepping in, wins the ball, needs some help. Goal kick.
The Portland Timbers get stretched right now. Their back line and their first line of pressure too wide. Little pockets that the Seattle Sounders are finding and getting players on the ball. Clint Dempsey, a lot of touches right outside that 18. That's going to worry Caleb Porter.
Maxi Aruzzi, a special goal. The fourth goal, the insurance one. He'll be coming off to a rousing ovation. Replaced by Frederick Piquillon, 35-year-old. Premier League experience with West Ham and Portsmouth. He's played for Lyon and Marseille in France. And Darlington Nagby's gone down all the way at the other end of the field. Nagby, who came off with what originally was called a pulled hamstring last week in Dallas. He's officially listed with a leg contusion. He was sort of a game-time decision to see how he came through warm-ups, whether he would start this game or not.
I got to interrupt you for a second, John. Just off to my left, Caleb Porter screaming at Chara and Will Johnson, saying, Dempsey, gotta pick up Dempsey. Repeated that about 4 or 5 times. I think he's made the message pretty clear.
Nagby will be coming off here. It'll be Ben Szymanski, his former Akron teammate, to replace him. Szymanski, utility piece for the Timbers now in his second year. Second change in quick succession for Portland. top. Nagel brings it down, now trying to hold off Michael Harrington, spins inside of him. Lamar Nagel gets the cross away. Martin's a touch. Clint Dempsey! Here they come. It's 4-3 with 5 minutes to go.
One reason I love Clint Dempsey in this withdrawn forward position is he's more willing to get into the box and get forward into these dangerous spots. Nagel has been a bright spot since coming on, but watch him bring this ball with him. That is such a difficult touch. That ball deflects before it gets to him. This will be a great angle. And he collects it as he's running, keeps it in his stride, and then still has the ability to finish it off. Outstanding finish from Clint Dempsey. Is it too late? I don't know, the way the Seattle Sounders are playing right now, I'm feeling they're going to have something to say about this and have a few more chances to level this off.
Advantage played as Pompo is fouled behind the play. Alonso, the touch from Dempsey to find Martins. Chara steps in. Yedlin gets there. It's a penalty. Penalty kick, Seattle Sounders.
How quickly things can turn. Watch as Yedlin comes in. And you can see Szymanski takes a look once, takes a look twice. Still can't get there before Yedlin. And right here is a good look at it. Absolutely spot on, right call. The contact on the left foot as he goes through. He was going to be beat to the ball. Szymanski at that point, it's not easy to do, but he's just got to let Yedlin collect that ball and hope someone else makes a big play.
Fourth penalty kick given away by the Timbers in 5 games. Andrew Weber faced 2 of them in Colorado, both goals. Clint Dempsey an opportunity to not only complete his hat trick, but to bring the Sounders back into a 4-4 scoreline in the 87th minute in Portland. Done it! How about this?
Here's another look at that foul from a different angle. Absolutely spot on from the referee to point to the spot. And there's been a lot of talk lately about Clint Dempsey at the club level, at the international level, suggesting that he's not on form and struggling a little bit. And I think it's been overly critical. I think Clint would raise his hand and say, I haven't been at my best. But all he needed was one really big performance, I feel like, to get him back going. And this might be that performance.
Anibaba heads that away. Picquion now involved for the first time. The foul coming over the back of Yedlin. They've been doing these since 1975, the Portland Timbers and Seattle Sounders. Never before have there been 8 goals scored in a game between these 2 big names. And just in case we needed an extra little flourish, Steve Zakawani is getting set to come on for Portland. As the rain now increases. Martins and Szymanski battling. Valeri stamps it away. Johnson, it came off the referee. Pineda. It's the 500 Sounders fans making most of the noise right now, it feels like. Szymanski in open space gives it away. The first draft pick in Sounders history, co-leading goal scorer in 2010, Steve Zakawani suffered the horrible leg break in April 2011. Played just 16 games the last 2 years. He left Seattle, he came to Portland, he replaces the captain, Will Johnson, for the final minute plus stoppage time.
Well, at halftime, the Seattle Sounders players came out for the second half and gave Steve Zakawani a big hug. All of them went up to him.
Free kick Sounders.
Still a part of Seattle Sounders history and one of the better players they ever had.
Gonzalo Pineda with the man over it. 4-minute stoppage time still to come, we understand. Pineda lifting it in. Header knocked down. Marshall first to react. Dempsey right to Weber.
As the ball comes down, Chad Marshall just trying to put it right in the path of Clint Dempsey. Maybe hits it back to him a little too hard. You can see disappointed with himself as Clint Dempsey has to snap at it a little bit.
Appa's header finds Alonso. Dempsey with 4 goals in 2 starts this season for Seattle. Gets it away from Martins. Pineda put it behind the target. Rivalry trying to get away. Poked away from behind by Clint Dempsey. He's doing everything right now. Yedlin wide for Nagel. Into stoppage time. Nagel running at Harrington. Hands back, DeAndre Yedlin deflected just wide. Femi Martins.
Well, of course, Clint Dempsey's having a fantastic performance, but Lamar Nagel's changed this game since coming on, and this is such a good opportunity. Yedlin obviously trying to shoot this one, and Femi Martins, the knowledge, the understanding that all he has to do is just get a little glance on that, doesn't catch enough of the ball to send it towards target.
Piquion's pressure, forcing the header backwards from Marshall. Alassane picks it up, trying to set up Szymanski to send the cross in. Fry is there.
Talked about John Ziggy Schmidt trying to find the ideal way to play with Clint Dempsey. He might have found it. This is the best Seattle Sounders have looked all season, and last year it was a diamond that they got the best out of Clint Dempsey, him playing at the top of the diamond, but this looks very dangerous the way they're playing right now.
Zakawani knocked out by Alonso. Halfway through the 4-minute stoppage time, Valeri finds Zakawani. Does he have the speed to get back to the touch on Yedlin? He doesn't. And it's just going to be, actually last off Zakawani. I'm going to say just going to be a throw, but Alario Grajeda right on the scene says it takes the touch off of Steve Zakawani. Well, and if the Timbers seemed agitated yesterday, searching for that first win at 4-2 up with 5 minutes plus to go. It's a missed touch by Pineda. Piquion picks it up. Piquion holding up Pineda. His shot, though, into the stands. Now you're looking at the Timbers Army, you're hearing the Emerald City supporters. Final minute or so on the watch of Alario Grajeda. Zakawani just trying to lift it ahead. Piquion brings it down. Piquion holding off Pineda, throws the elbow. Advantage played though. Pineda's down on a heap. Grajeda will stop it here. And Gonzalo Pineda is down.
Clint Dempsey and Piquion having a conversation right there. And Piquion saying, just getting my arms out to defend myself. And Clint Dempsey accepting that. We'll get a look at it right here. He doesn't really know where Pineda's head is. He's not taking a look. He's not lining it up, but that elbow is a bit high.
Nagel almost got away for a counter. He just couldn't quite control that ball. Zakawani's header inside, finds Alassane, trying to backheel Anibaba for the seat of his pants, gets back on the ball. We're past the 4 minutes indicated. Only Hilario Grajeda knows how much time we have left. Zakawani trying to win a corner, does so. The Timbers, you might remember, in a game against LA last July, scored a goal off a corner in second half stoppage time. They'll have their chance here. Valeri floats it in. The header knocked down. It was Paparazzo closest to it. It's back in from Powell and over. And that's it. Cascadia at its best. Major League Soccer at its best. 4 goals each between the Portland Timbers and Seattle Sounders. The highest scoring game between these two in a rivalry that goes back 40 years. The Timbers' search for an opening win this season continues. The Sounders, a 2-goal comeback led by that man, Clint Dempsey's hat trick in the final 5 minutes to once again break the hearts of their southern rivals. Our degree deodorant 2 more moment comes from what feels like a very long time ago. The Timbers were 3-2 up, and Maxi Arruti got involved on a mistake from Jalil Anibaba. Arruti just 1 goal in 11 coming in. One of the very best you'd ever hope to see. Made it 4-2 Timbers at that point. They thought they were going to cruise home for a win before it all caved in the final minutes. We've got a lot more to take a look at between these two. Kyle and Russ will take us through the highlights, and we'll digest what has been a sensational afternoon of soccer here in Portland as this one finishes. Portland Timbers 4, Seattle Sounders 4.
Group of Emerald City supporters as the Portland Timbers and Seattle Sounders play to a barely conceivable scoreline of 4-4, and it's time now for our Volkswagen man of the match, and he's from the Seattle Sounders. It's Clint Dempsey, who scored not once, not twice, but 3 times. A hat trick for Dempsey as Seattle erases a 4-2 deficit and comes away with a 4-4 draw here in Portland. And welcome back to Providence Park, everybody. Russ Thaler and Kyle Martino, joined now by our man of the match, Clint Dempsey. Clint, congratulations on the hat trick. What's it like to complete a comeback in this environment for the Seattle Sounders?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. It's obviously a big point for us because we're behind by 2 goals, and we had a mountain to climb to try to get back into the game. But credit to our team, we showed a lot of character, and we're able to equalize and get a point away from home against our rivals.
Clint, talk about how difficult this transition's been, because when you first came to the team, you didn't get a preseason, you were injured a lot, and it seems like you're still trying to figure out how best to fit into this team and how best to move forward.
Yeah, I think because of injuries, because of suspension, you get a little bit out of rhythm. You're trying to figure out what's your best formation that you're going to do, whether that's a 4-3-3, whether that's a 4-4-2, or it's a 4-2-3-1. But at the same time, it was good for me to go on loan at Fulham and get my fitness because my body was breaking down, and I feel good coming back into the league. And in the games that I've played, I feel like I've showed well.
Clint Dempsey with a hat trick today. Clint, thanks so much for joining us. 4-4, your final score from here in Portland, Oregon. Dempsey plays the hero's role for Seattle. Both teams split the points. We'll be back to wrap things up from Portland next. Thanks, man. The Portland Timbers took 4 slabs out of the log in this game. Seattle Sounders matched them goal for goal. A 4-4 final in Portland. Don't miss the U.S. women's national team as they take on China Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. For John Strong and Kyle Martino, I'm Russ Thaler saying so long from Portland. Once again, your final score, Portland Timbers 4, Seattle Sounders 4.